Demonstration figures for the first quarter of the year signal declines for all types of machinery in Italy, while the other major European countries were pursuing positive trends.
According to the FederUnacoma data on registrations in the first quarter of 2014, based on Ministry of Transport statistics, conditions do not appear to be showing any improvement in light of the fall in tractor sales at 2.9% under those in the same quarter in 2013, the 11.1% slide for transporters and the 2.1% decline for trailers. Furthermore, combine harvesters, the only machinery category which came out of 2013 with a gain, 13.9%, dropped back into the red with a 28.9% decline in the first quarter of this year. The gap between the trend for tractors on the Italian market and in those in the leading European countries is most visible in consideration of the 2014 first quarter growth of 8.9% in Germany, 9.6% in the UK and 31.3% in Spain, countered by a 24% decline in France, chalked up to a settling market in the wake of massive gains in recent years. FederUnacoma President Massimo Goldoni noted, "Never before times like these have the foreign market driven Italian production of agricultural machinery and equipment, which settled at 7.7 billion euros. And we have to be proud of the ability of our enterprises to compete on markets all over the world, from Europe to the United States, from Australia to the Far East." Istat foreign trade data pegged the growth of tractor export at 3.4% in 2013, for a value of 1.7 billion euros, and the increase of other types of machinery at 7%, valued at 2.9 billion.
Following on the success of the first edition held in spring of 2013, FederUnacoma returned to India for a new appointment for mechanization demonstration trials in Punjab.
The second edition of the EMA show Punjab, India was staged on March the 14th and the 15th in Ludhiana by FederUnacoma with the backing of the Emilia-Romagna region and in cooperation with the Emilia-Romagna Unioncamere, the Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FICCI. The event was hosted by the Punjab Agricultural University and held alongside the Kisan Mela Agricultural Fair, which drew no fewer than 250,000 farmers and business people from Punjab and the bordering states in northwest India. Playing leading roles were agricultural machinery and equipment presented by 19 Italian manufacturers for demonstrations focused on soil preparation, seeding, fertilization, crop protection and forage harvesting, on ample grounds allocated also for components for various types of machinery, brought for static display as well as in operational mode through the use of dedicated simulators. The EMA show was created for providing Indian business people illustrations of the opportunities offered by the merchandise range and the efficiency and safety ensured by machinery and equipment made in Italy for the subcontinent's primary sector, now facing the need to boost productivity and increase crop quality to meet growing quantity and quality demand for the population now beyond 1.2 billion. The Italian agricultural mechanization sector, thanks to the quality products and advanced technologies of these manufacturers, making their products ideally suited for India's special pedoclimatic conditions, is fully capable of providing the instruments for meeting these challenges.
The gardening machinery market has returned to sound levels in the area of Europe, but indications of sales in Italy are still negative, though there are hopes for a reversal of the trend in the current year in light of a very limited decline in 2013.
The sector of mechanization for gardening and groundskeeping has come through its critical phase and is recovering in dynamics. Following the international financial and economic crisis of 2008 and 2009, the European market is returning to substantial sales. Estimates for 2013 are for sales on the continental market, the European Union and beyond, coming to a total of nearly 15 million units of mowers, brush cutters, garden tractors and ride-ons, and other types of machinery and equipment for hobbyists and professional groundskeeping, for a gain of 0.6% over the 2012 figure. The United Kingdom was confirmed as the leader in the continent, thanks especially to some types of machine, mainly mowers, with 2013 sales at more than 1 million units, to account for 1/4 of the total of 4.3 million for all of Europe. Sales in Italy climbed steadily in the opening years of the past decade, to then plunge with the onset of crisis conditions in 2009. After a 12% drop in 2012, under the previous year, the current estimate is for a much more limited decline of 1.6%, shown by 1 million units sold to signal a possible reversal of the trend in 2014, which might return the sector to the black.
In 2014, there will be the 41st edition of EIMA International, the exhibition of machinery for agriculture and gardening promoted by FederUnacoma, a roadshow to present the event in Italy and abroad at press, representatives and traders.
In order to organize the 2014 EIMA International edition, scheduled at Bologna Fiere from November the 12th to the 16th, the Federation of Agricultural Machinery Manufacturers has organized a series of press conferences to promote the exhibition, that from February until October are being held both in Italy and abroad during the most important trade fairs of the sector. The meetings aim at illustrating to journalists and economic operators from several countries the features and innovation of the exhibition, and besides offering them logistic support to visit the exhibition in the form of delegation, small groups or individually. 7 are the presentations held until now. The first meeting was held on February the 6th in Verona, Italy, during Ferragricola, followed by the FIMA, February the 13th in Spain, Agri-Show in Iran, February the 19th, Expo Agro in Argentina, March the 13th, in Agritech in Indonesia, March the 18th. Then back to Italy in Montichiari, Brescia, with Vita in Campania on March the 21st. Siam in Morocco on April the 25th, and finally the Agri-Show in Brazil on April the 29th. The initiative as a whole is a part of a wider project of internationalization sponsored by the Federation to promote its manufacturing businesses and includes country studies, agreements with associations of the sector and institutional participation to exhibitions. The press conferences dedicated to the EIMA exhibition provide, besides the distribution of illustrative brochures on the event and the Federation's activities, the preparation of information related to the prospects of mechanization in host countries and to cooperation opportunities with Italian industry.
Estimates made public by the Comacomp manufacturers are pointing to an increase in sales abroad and in Italy in the first quarter of the year. Production in 2013 reached a value of 1.7 billion euro, with more than 80% of these sales accounted for by exports.
The first quarter of the year was in the black for the Italian industries, turning out components for agriculture and earth-moving machinery. After closing 2013 with a 5% increase in sales on foreign markets and an ongoing slump on the domestic market, which has showed no signs of recovery since a 10% decline in 2012, the industries in the sector reported gains abroad as well as at home over the first 3 months of 2014. Estimates compiled by Comacomp, the Association of Italian Components Manufacturers in the FederUnacoma Federation, indicated that exports rose 7% in the OEM, Original Equipment Manufacturers segment of direct supplies for these manufacturers, as well as in the AM, aftermarket, of spare parts and accessories. On the domestic market, for both OEM and AM categories of products, these estimates put the increase at the same level, plus 7%. Though the percentages are the same, the value of exports carried considerably more weight compared to that of the home market, in that the Italian industries in the sector with total production valued at 1.7 billion euros in 2013, which turn out an enormous range of components, from axles and tires to cabs, CPU, central processing units, and on to accessories, and the smallest parts of mechanical gearboxes, ship 80% of this production abroad. Expectations for the first half of the current year are also positive for Italy as well as for the foreign market, whereas there could be a slowdown in the second half, according to Comacomp.